Hello, today we're going to look at an example of referencing a web page. We're working on the assumption that you've been doing your essay, your article, whatever, and in the references list at end you've just pasted in an address of something that you want to use. So what we're going to do is go to that address and find some information and create a proper reference. Okay, so the first thing that we need to know is who's done this page. Now, as we look down the page, there is actually no author. This is what's known as published by the institution. If you look at the articles here, we've got a top story that we can click on, and that's done by Jessica Shepherd, the education correspondent. But this page hasn't got an author, so the author is actually the institution, in this case the Guardian. Second thing we need to find out is when it was published. Now organisations are getting much better at this. What you have to do is usually scroll down to the bottom and it will tell you copyright terms, 2011 in this case. Again, if we look at this story, we'd see that it says at the top 6th of October, but our page, the one that we want to reference, is done by The Guardian, and it's done in 2011. So we go back to our document and we go that the publisher is The Guardian. We don't put the, that's just too clunky. Things like the Telegraph, the Times, the Mail, you use the title of the publication without the. And then we know it's done in 2011. That's the start of our reference. The next thing we need to know is the title of the page. So if you look at the tab on your web browser, you see there's a really long set of information, latest higher education news, including University Guide. Now we might use that if the page had got no information on at all, but in our case it's got a title, very clearly the title, which is higher education. Yep, that's our title of this page, higher education. Now in this case it's not the title of a publication, it's just the title of that article on the publication. And so in this case it's not italicized like the title of a book or the title of a magazine. It's done as an article inside quotes, in this case inside double quotes. Now the next thing we do with this is we put the web address and we put available at, then we put in the web page, and we put a space and we put accessed at, in this case 9th of October 2011. Now if we just change our font a little bit, you should see that that fits together quite nicely, and that's what I would consider to be a good online page reference of this sort of page. Now some people would put online, some systems require you to put that, but I think increasingly it's obvious when it's online. Everybody in the world knows the HTTP, unless you live in a Brazilian forest all your life. So I think that's fairly straightforward. So we don't need that every time. We've got, so where it's available as a web resource, and we've got what date it was accessed. Now that's vital because the page can change in the meantime, or the page can disappear, and there are actually people that save web pages and archive the internet. Okay, what we're going to do is take a quote from this page. If we can find a quote which is actually from this page, So we'll have Cambridge tops the Guardian League table. Cambridge is better than Oxford, says the Guardian. Okay. So Cambridge currently is better academically than Oxford according to one website. Now, as you can see, that's a paraphrase. There's no exact quote in there. It's a way, a paraphrase is a way of saying the same thing as an article's saying, but in your own words. And then we're going to reference that. We're going to do an in-text reference to that. In this case, whatever is there, the first bit, should match the name in our reference list. Now in this case it's the name of the organisation Guardian, but if say it was written by someone called Fred Jones, that would say Jones in the top bit, and the bottom bit would say Jones, F, full stop. And wherever we've got 2011 there, we need for that reference to be replicated there. So using those two bits of information, you can look it up in your reference list. And that is one example of Harvard referencing for a web page. Thank you.